Alright, good morning, people of YouTube. So we are back again today with a set 4 Mastemon purple list. I have a buddy that wants to build a deck similar to this and is trying to get into the game. Doesn't really know what he's doing, just kind of diving into the deep end, with purple being one of the harder colors to just play. But, yeah. We'll go ahead and get into this list that I came up with for Mastemon. We looked at a purple deck list for Lilithmon just fairly recently, so it kind of inspired me to take a look at Mastemon purple. I was already planning on building Mastemon yellow in set 4 as one of my primary decks. That's probably going to be one of the main decks that I bring to tournaments, that Leopardmon, and then a couple other projects that I'm working on that I'm very excited to show off on the channel soon. As soon as I get physical cards in my hand. I have not been able to get physical cards in my hand yet, because I wasn't able to go to any of the pre-releases. There wasn't any store that was doing them around me that I could go to. And my local game shop is getting their promos very soon, so hopefully I will be getting all of my product, and I will be able to give you physical deck profiles, because I don't really like doing the... I like DigimonCard.dev, but I don't like having to build a deck on a computer. I'd rather show it to you physically. But that being said, this is what we got. So we're going to go ahead and get into what this deck is supposed to do. It's designed so that you can kind of play it like a Rookie Rush strategy, but also have a very, very solid build-up into Mastemon. And what Mastemon is going to allow you to do is it's going to not only trash a security, but give you the option to play back a body as well. So you'll notice that it does say that you can bring back a purple or a yellow Digimon, so it synergizes very, very well with some of the cards that I've chosen. Some of the cards that I chose to include in this list. So let's see. Start off with the Digitama as always. We got 4 Demi-Meramon, because it's going to stay the best rookie, or best baby we get for a while. And then we get this cute little dude in set 4. Giving one of your dudes retaliation, if you have 10 or more cards in trash, seems very, very good on an inheritable. This would make it so that your Mastemon, if you build up into it, or even your Millenniummon, if you go into that, would have the retaliation. So if they want to swing over it, if they get a body that's big enough to swing over it, they're losing that big body. So it just gives your opponent more things that they have to deal with. It makes your matchup against green and red better, because they're colors that are more focused on dealing with bodies by attacking. So this is an excellent inclusion to purple, and I'm very, very happy that we get it. Got 2 of the 2-cost vanilla Demi-Devi because he's still good. I'm going to zoom this in a bit, I guess. But we got the Demi-Devimon here. We got 3 copies of Impmon, so we can turbo it into Beelzemon, because that seems good. We got a couple copies of Gabumon, because Gabumon is still good. The thing is you're not the only card you're trying to Digivolve into is the Mastemon and the 1 copy of the new Digiburst Metal Garurumon that we're playing. So inheritables for deletion effects aren't really as important in this specific build of purple. So I only included 2. And part of the reason for that is because of a new inclusion that we get in Labramon. So this card says, just on play, trigger, draw 1, and then trash 1, which is pretty nice. You can bring it back with Mastemon, you can bring it back with Night Raid. I only included 1 in the deck. I feel like these numbers could change. Like, this Gabumon could go to 1, and Labramon could go to 2. I really think that might be the way I take it whenever I build this deck physically, but it would require just a little bit of testing. Got a couple Candlemon to round out to get the 4 2-cost vanillas. There are other cards I wanted to play. I wasn't specifically trying to play 4 2-cost vanillas, but I do feel like having some amount in this deck is definitely necessary. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get one big body that is swinging at security and then finish him off with a bunch of little dudes. So, Candlemon, Demi-Devimon, those cards are great. Gazimon is still very important. So, the fact that your opponent can't gain memories or gain memory at all except by Tamers becomes so much more relevant in set 4, and it already was very relevant in set 1.5. Now, this last rookie for the purple side is something that I'm very, very excited to show you. This is Sound Birdmon. I don't see anybody really talking about this card at all. It has a when attacking effect, you may trash an option card in your hand to gain a memory. It's not, like, super broken, but what it can do is it can be a play extender while chipping away your opponent's security. Purple already plays so many option cards, and sometimes I would gladly trash cards in my hand to get more memory so that I could extend my plays even further. And this card lets you do just that. I really like Sound Birdmon. I think 2 is a good number because you can keep cycling it back if you need it, but it's a very, very solid card, and I'm excited to test it even further. Just the 3 cost to play normally is like pretty standard, but typically you're just going to be evolving it on top of a rookie and bringing it out, or pulling it up off the Night Raid or the Mastemon. So we'll go ahead and move right along to the last 2 rookies of the deck, which are the yellow ones. So we have a copy of Bushiagumon, which has Rush. This broken. There's Rush, Haste, fast attack. It's existed in multiple different card games. And every card game that it's in, it's a very, very good ability. This is just the first card that we get with it. So, and it's something that you can play for free off of a lot of effects. So it's the one that people think is the most broken with Rush. It by itself isn't really too impressive, being a 5 cost to play normally in 3K, but that ability makes it so good. And you can bring it, what you do with this deck, with these yellows, is you get them in your hand, and you trash them with your card effects, because that's what purple does. You see Labramon trashes cards, Demi-Meramon trashes cards, Gabumon trashes cards. You're going to be trashing cards in your hand. These are going to be some of the cards you trash. You trash the Bushiagumon, and you trash this here Lucemon. My boy Zatchbell coming in hot. Whenever you play him, will let you recover. So adding recovery to purple is kind of nice, especially in a deck where you're kind of taking away some of your own security whenever you do go up into your Mastemon. You do have the option to keep it in your hand and play it as a 5 cost pretty reliably, just because purple puts a bunch of cards in their trash. And that is very, very good. I would consider bumping this up to 2. It's just space in this deck is kind of tight. And coming into this next set, I'm not going to be able to go as hard as I did for the past 2 sets, at least right out of the gate. I'm going to have to kind of accumulate cards slowly because we're still stabilizing after our big move. But I'm only expecting to get at most like 1 Lucemon right out of the gate. So 1 is all I'm choosing to include in this list. I would consider to bump it up to 2, but honestly I think it'd be kind of a brick. But, can it really be a brick when you're recovering? I don't. It's an option away, and whenever I test more, I'll be able to let you know how strongly I feel about bumping this card up. But you definitely should include at least 1. And it's a 10k body that you can bring back for free off Mastemon. That's just kind of nuts. So these 2 do round out the last level 3s in the deck. We got a lot of purple ones. I think there were 14 purples and like the 2 yellows. That sounds about right. I didn't want to do the math. Moving on into the champions. We have 2 Devimons from BT2. This is going to be your Retaliator, and it has Retaliation as an inheritable. That's one of the main reasons I'm playing it. It's giving your bodies more Retaliation is good because it makes that green matchup makes that red matchup so much better. So I do like Devimon as a 2-of in this deck. The next card we are playing is the Security Black Gatomon. So like I said, what you want to do is you want to get one big body and you want to get a bunch of little bodies and you want to swing at Security. This is a little body that has the potential to play itself. And if you don't see it in Security, you just kind of evolve on top of it. It's kind of a bad vanilla if you open it in your hand, but you do have discard effects. You can pitch it if you draw better champions. And you do have recovery in the form of the Lucemon and the Gatomon that we play later on. So this does have the option to hit in Security, like past your original 5. But you also inversely have the option to trash it from your Security with Mastemon's effect. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but the times that it works off, it feels really good, because you can just kind of evolve it into a Skullmeramon and then Mastemon immediately on top of that. So when it comes out, it puts you far ahead, but when it doesn't, it doesn't. The most important champion in this deck is actually the new Devimon from the purple starter deck. It's a 1 cost to evolve into Blocker. Yeah, I don't know why we even, got Meramon, to tell you the truth. Or I don't even know why Meramon was, not a 6,000 like Gorilla and Dark Tyranno. Meramon I just felt was really underwhelming, being a 5,000 vanilla that didn't do anything for 1. But the Devimon having Blocker is really nice. Alright. And the next card we have is going to be the yellow Gatomon that we get as a promo. Not really sure, or don't really remember how it comes out. I'll pick mine up soon, so I'll find out shortly. It has an effect on your opponent's turn while you have a purple Digimon in play. It gets Blocker. So it's another blocker that you can play. Honestly, this is a card that I kind of want to bump up to 2 as well. All of the yellow cards I feel like you could bump up to 2, because they all have a very, very good place in this deck. And it has another effect that says if you have 3 or fewer Security cards on play, recovery +1, which is amazing. So, again, more recovery in a deck that you're trashing your Security, and this is a deck that's mostly offense, so having some defense with this, with the blockers, with this having Blocker, is just really, really nice. So, going into the level 5s now, I'm only playing 8 purple level 4s, but that's because the only real level 6s that you're evolving into are the Mastemon and the Metal Garurumon, and I guess the Beelzemon, but you can warp into that. So we're not really playing that many level 5s either. I am playing Chimeramon for a good on-play skill, since, I just said that we aren't Digivolving up as often, except for maybe 1 or 2 chains. So this is really nice. The only thing you don't want to put on top of this is the Digiburst Metal Garurumon, because you're never going to be able to resolve the skill. But aside from that, you can evolve any of the other, I guess the Beelzemon or the Mastemon, you could evolve those on top of this. But again, being able to destroy one of your opponent's level 5 or lowers will really set them back if they're playing Imperial Dramon, or the Burning Greymon deck with Aldemon, if they're going that route. Or even Shine, because you can still pop the Rises. And Shine will still be a deck in the next format. It's just not going to be the most popular yellow deck anymore. But Chimeramon's still good to include as a 1-of. If you're playing against a matchup where you can resolve it multiple times, you can always grab it back off the mat. So it is a great card, and I think for the most part it should still be seeing it at least play as a 1-of in purple. The most important level 5 in purple is still Skullmeramon. Just a 5 cost to slap down is very, very nice, especially since there are going to be times where you're starving for a level 4. Hard playing this just never feels bad, and you're going to be able to get into Mastemon very easily off of this. And if you do get to evolve it for 2, going up, then, you can get into a Digiburst with the Metal Garurumon very quickly. Or you can just get into the Mastemon very, very quickly, and that's the name of the game. It's the turbo aspect. The last level 5 that I am playing is the new Weregarurumon from the starter deck. So this says, while there are 5 or more cards in your trash, this Digimon gains plus 2,000 as an inheritable. So this will put Mastemon up to 14,000. It'll put Metal Garurumon up to 13,000, Beelzemon up to 13. So now, Purple historically has not had the highest DP when it came to their level 6s. So Yamon was played as the 5th egg so that you could get more power, so that you could have a chance at surviving some of these checks. Well, this Weregarurumon will let you do that. And so I really do like this card. I'd consider bumping it up to 2 as well, but I think the only thing that could come out would be the Chimeramon. Another level 5 that I also considered playing was the Magna Angemon from the first base set, the on-play recovery +1, because you can evolve that into Mastemon. I just thought this was more important. I thought getting more power is better in certain matchups, and again, you kind of want this deck, you kind of want Purple to function as a toolbox so that you can play against all of the different matchups and have a little bit for everything. Because Purple is very, very techy when it comes to their card choices. It's a very, very versatile deck that every single Purple player will build Purple differently. So this is a card that you might not see in other lists. I am going to try it out in the next set. On to the level 6s. The main one is going to be Mastemon. Again, it's aggression. I love level 6s that put a body on board for free. Level 6s that put a body on board for free honestly are in my opinion, the best level 6s in the Digimon card game as a whole. Being able to just net a +1 advantage for free is nothing to scoff at. That kind of thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Made cards, $60 plus, just being able to get a free +1 given the context, and being able to choose what you're getting off of the cards that are in your trash. Like, you have the Bushiagumon, you have the Lucemon, you have this Gatomon, you have a Devimon if you want retaliation, you have Devimon if you want blocker. You can get the Labramon to start drawing cards. You can play the Sound Birdmon so that you can gain more memory on your next turn. You can play back an Impmon and then warp into Beelzemon and have another level 6. So there are so many things you can do with it. I am playing 3 in this list. I do feel like you could maybe adjust one of these level 6s and play a Lilithmon, since we are playing so many options. But I don't think I don't know what I would cut or how I would incorporate it. Again, because space in this deck is kind of tight. There's just so many good cards, and you kind of want to play all of them. That's like the biggest thing I'm finding with Purple when I'm trying to deck build for it. But yeah, the other level 6s we got to Digivolve into is this Metal Garurumon. This is the new one that says Digiburst 2. Play an option with a memory cost of 7 or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. This will let you play your Nailbone. It'll let you play your Hell's Gate. It'll let you play your Trump Sword. I don't think there's an 8-cost purple option yet. But yeah, any purple option, basically. So that's just super versatile. I chose this over the Lilith because this gives you immediate advantage. Lilith does get you the +2 to your hand, which is very, very good. But being able to play cards, like with Mastemon and like with this card, I just feel puts you more in the driver's seat. Which is why Metal Garurumon alone makes Purple a tier 1.5 at least deck. So this deck is not focused on Metal Garurumon. It is more focused on Mastemon. This is more in here to get more advantage and give you a level 6 that can act as spot removal before you hit Millennium. And I do really like it for that purpose. So the other ones are Beelzemon, because we can warp into it. This card is absolutely amazing. for the sole fact that you can go from rookie straight to level 6. Its Wind Digivolving effect is pretty good, but it's not anything to write home about. You know, killing a level 4 is fine, but if you are able to go Impmon into Beelzemon into Millenniumon, it feels very, very nice. And then the last level 6 is Piedmon, because we are still playing a lot of, you know, lower cost Digimon. So, again, security control, decks that are, like, control-oriented and focused on dropping hard removal have a hard time dealing with this because you give your opponent too much memory to work with and they have to waste all of their options. And they're like a slower paced deck and they kind of want to hold their things and save them for the right moments. In certain matchups, however, giving your opponent 12 memory will make you lose. So I am only having it as a one-of. If you're playing against a matchup where it's bad, you discard it. If you're playing a matchup where it's good, it'll win you the game. It's one of those cards in purple, so I think you have to include one of it. And if you need to resolve it multiple times, you can keep grabbing it back off the mat. So the only level 7 that purple still has access to is Millenniumon, but that is fine because Millenniumon is very good. It spins something to the bottom, and you have to kill it twice. So the only reason I'm playing 2 is in case I mill the first one, and honestly, again, space in this deck is tight. I'm only playing the 6 level 6s, so I felt 2 was fine. Now, this is the section of the deck that made me look at Sound Birdmon and be like, man, this is a good card. We have all of these options. We got 1 Night Raid, because it's purple, and being able to play a rookie is pretty good. So, and also if it activates in security, it's another free body. So you have this and the Black Gatomons that can function as a security body, which is very nice. We have a single copy of Heat Viper, because there are certain matchups that this card will just blow out of the water. And against those matchups, you can keep recycling it. But Heat Viper is a card that I don't know. Like, it's very meta dependent. I haven't tested it in set 4 yet, so I don't know if this is going to stay in the deck, or if it might even go up to 2. But I've always played it at 1 in the past in my purple list, and I've always liked it at 1. So, I'm going to go into the Trump Sword, the single copy. It's a great card. It's still worth playing. But we do have a slightly better option, I feel, in Hell's Gate now. This is what purple needed. It lets you delete a level 6 or higher, and it doesn't have to be unsuspended. That's amazing. Like, and not only that, but you have this card and Trump Sword. Sign me up. You can play, like, purple security control now with, like, 4 of this and 4 Trump Sword and, like, play all the yellow cards. That might be a deck we try later. That might be a deck we try later. But Hell's Gate is very good, and I can't wait to pick up my copies of this. Like, this is a card that every purple player was excited for. And then the last 2 option cards as well, like, are other options that purple's been very excited for a long time. I'm going to go into Jack Raid first. We played 2 copies of this because it's one of those cards that can be like Hammer Spark on crack. You can gain a memory for every 10 cards in your trash, and in purple, sometimes you can gain 3 memory off of that. Most of the time, you're going to gain 2, which is, for a 0-cost option, that's nuts. And even if you're gaining 10, if you're just gaining the 1 memory off of it for the having 10 to 20 in your trash, that's good enough. And its security effect is gaining 2 memory, so it is like a Hammer Spark in security as well. So this is a great card to play. And if you get it too early game, you can discard it with the Sound Birdmon to get the memory anyway. So that's something that I do really like as well. Now this card, like Jack Raid, Hell's Gate, and then Nail Bone, that one. These three options make purple very, very worth considering moving forward. Nailbone is like a mini Piedmon. So you have the 2 Nailbones that I included, and then the Piedmon, and you have so many different ways to just fill your board with bodies. If you don't know what this does, is it lets you play a level 3 and a level 4 purple Digimon card from your trash without paying its cost. You don't get any on-play skills, but its security effect will just play a level 4, so that's something to keep in mind. Or I guess a level 4 or lower. But it's free Swarm. And if you get this off of the Metal Garurumon effects, you're golden. But even if you don't, you know, this is just an absolutely stunning card to play. It's one of the best option cards in the game for all colors. And this is the reason that people are picking up the purple starter deck. It's not the super rare. It's not anything else in the deck. It is specifically Nailbone and the blocker Devimon. So, take that for what you will. And then the last card in the deck is Mr. Green Day himself, Matashita. He returns. You know, he's your memory setter, and he lets you recycle a card from your trash. We get a new mat that says if one of your Digimon is deleted, you can suspend it and gain a memory. It is only a 2-cost tamer. I really like it, especially since this deck is kind of throwing bodies at security. That could be a very good pick. And we get the new Kari that says if your security is trashed, you can gain a memory. But they're less consistent than Matt. Matt always grabs you something back if you need it. And you're milling everything with purple anyway, so you're always going to have something to choose with this card. I think 3 is cloggy. You know, spending 4 memory for something that isn't a body isn't something that you want to do all the time unless you're blowing something up with one of these absurd options. But Matt can grab all those absurd options back, so yeah, gotta play it. Anyway, that's it. That's this profile. It's mostly a purple toolbox, but this time it's less toolboxy in the fact that it's kind of streamlined down to like one specific strategy, but then you streamline yourself down to that specific strategy, and then you have a toolbox options to go from there. So it's a very versatile deck. It can play out of a lot of different situations, and I'm very excited to try this moving forward. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe and all that jazz, and yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.